have been hard at work over the December period. In fact, on New Year's Eve and on New Year's Day, with various roadblocks at various high-pressure points, which often present as crime hotspots. Gauteng police will be releasing crime stats this morning on the number of arrests and incidents that they had recorded. Calvin Dludla is coming to us live now with an update on that. Calvin, we heard about hundreds, and in fact, nationally, the number is thousands of people who were arrested, hundreds in Gauteng alone for drunken driving and various other transgressions, traveling without, particularly for foreign nationals, without the necessary permits, documentation, and oftentimes with fraudulent documentation. Do we have a sense of what the leading crimes are that took charge in December?
Good morning to you and to our SABC viewers at home. We are at the South African Police Service provincial headquarters here at Parktown. That is where we are meeting the top brass of the South African Police Service, and we are going to engage with them. You would remember that they deployed a number of officials and resources during this festive season, especially during the 31st of December, the last day of the year, and at night. But Brigadier Brenda Mridili, who speaks for SABC in this province of Gauteng, is here with me so that maybe she can be able to tell us more. Thank you very much, Brigadier Mridili. Compliments of the new season. Your police officials were hard at work during the festive season, making sure that we are safe. Let's talk about statistics, especially for the crossover. Are you satisfied with the operations?
Thank you, Calvin, and thank you to the viewers at home, and Happy New Year. We are satisfied with the deployments. Remember, we had an operational plan that we started implementing from the 15th of October. And this operational plan was a 5-phased operational plan. So far, we are done with 3 phases. Today, we are entering into the fourth phase of that operational plan. And as for the crossover, we are happy. We got into the new year, we crossed over incident-free because all boots were on the ground. There was police visibility across the province, and then we were not working together. We were working together with other law enforcement agencies, including the Metro Police, the Gauteng Traffic, National Traffic, and our stakeholders, including Community Police Forum, as well as, remember, under the E2 project, Business Against Crime South Africa, that MOU of Eyes and Ears initiative.
I know maybe this question might be unfair to you, but maybe you have some stats, or you can paint a picture for our viewers at home from maybe the 16th to the 25th, Christmas Day. Your deployment and your operations, do you think they were effective before the new year?
Yes, they were definitely effective, Calvin. We had a few takedowns, that operations. Remember, there was one in Ekurhuleni where suspects were fatally shot by the police and some were arrested. And then as regards to only the crossover from the 31st to the early hours of the 1st, we arrested across the province 1,160 suspects. Of those we had, remember, we also had 10 focus areas. One of those focus areas were for liquor compliance. We also had for domestic violence to ensure that those perpetrators are arrested. For domestic violence, we had about 117 suspects who were arrested for only that period, a less than 24-hour period. And for the liquor outlets, we had about 57 of people who were arrested for drinking in public, and then also over 50 of people who were arrested for drunken driving across the province at our roadblocks. And we closed about over 20 of liquor outlets that were not complying with the Liquor Act.
The provincial commissioner, I saw him on television. He was in Hillbrow. Hillbrow is notorious for extreme violence and unnecessary littering of garbage during a festive season. And I saw he was also engaging with some of those who were celebrating. How was the situation in Hillbrow?
Hillbrow hasn't been violent during crossover for over 5 years now. An operational plan also includes covering Hillbrow, among other things, Johannesburg Central, as well as GP, because that's where Maboneng district is, and we know there's a lot of liquor outlets there that closes at 2 a.m. and they also covered Yeoville. So it was a peaceful one. At this instant, we as the police also look forward to going to Hillbrow because we go to a specific area which was problematic. And we know that when we get there, the residents from the flats, they watch outside, they come out, they engage with us, and then they are happy that we are there in numbers and to ensure that they are safe when they cross over to the new year.
I was deployed in Soweto on the 31st, especially at night. I was visiting most of the local establishments. Most of them closed after 3 in the morning. Police officials, I have to be fair to you, were there. I saw them, they were deployed. But do you think they were enough, especially in areas like your Soweto, or Alexandra, or your Tembisa?
We have our hotspot areas, Calvin. When we do this thing, remember, we don't just deploy. We are going according to our crime analysis pattern, and we have observed the areas that are problematic. Yes, you're not going to have all the liquor outlets complying, but in most of those liquor outlets, they comply with the Liquor Act because they know that if the police find them not compliant, they run the risk of losing their liquor license. And they also know that if the police find them non-compliant, they are going to be the target, in a sense that the police will forever be coming to that particular tavern or that pub to ensure that they comply because they had once not complied. So we have very law-abiding liquor outlets owners. At some point, when we were having serious challenges with the liquor outlets and the compliance, districts held meetings. They included liquor board and all the necessary stakeholders to ensure that they inform the liquor outlet owners. So it's their responsibility to ensure the safety of patrons. We as the police can only do patrols, but we cannot stand at every entrance of every liquor outlet to ensure that there is compliance, to ensure that the patrons are safe. So that was taken hit. Most of them took heed to that encouragement and advice, and we only have a few. But in Soweto specifically, while we were deployed specifically in the other areas of Gauteng with the provincial commissioner, that did not mean that the other areas were not covered. Like you said, the police were there in their numbers, and then we know in December time, police officers do not go on leave. We have all boots on the grounds. Members from the offices are out there who are trained, who are operationally ready. They're out there to ensure that we cover every corner of the province. But we're obviously not going to be able to cover every corner of every street. So we are happy with the way crossover operations, the successes thereof, as I have already mentioned. The operations were not only in Johannesburg district. All the district commissioners were out in numbers with their members and our stakeholders. We had Tshwane district, we had Sidibeng, Western, as well as Ekurhuleni. The district commissioners were leading those operations for the crossover.
Let's talk about the arrest now. I understand that during your campaign, when you were launching the Safe Season campaign, you did urge motorists not to drink and drive or have passengers who are drinking inside their cars. But understandably so, you deployed and people were drinking. So maybe let's talk about the arrest that you had when it comes to drinking and driving.
We had over 50 for drink and driving, as I've already mentioned. We also had over 50 for public drinking, because people believe that if they're in a vehicle, then it's not public drinking, but they're on a public road, so therefore it amounts to public drinking. And in most instances, when the police stops a vehicle at a roadblock, you will see this one, because I'm not a driver, they're holding an alcohol, a bottle in front of the police. We do not normally, we advise at some instances, we don't rush to arresting people. We advise in instances where we see that this person honestly did not know that what they are doing is against the law. But in some instances, you will have those that will resist and then tell you how they know their rights. But then in that instance, we show them that we know the law and we are the enforcers of the law. And then that is where we are able to effect those arrests. We had more than 50 in the province.
Let's talk about compliance. You are saying that you can't be at every corner, at every door of a local establishment. Now, those who are drinking, I know you were not monitoring them or hourly, but I saw some of them were drinking on the street, some of them were sitting, some of them had to go home drunk. Were you not worried that they might be hijacked? You were not worried that they might be mugged or stabbed?
It is a worry, Calvin, and then when I say the police cannot be at every corner, it does not mean that those corners are not policed. We have our force multipliers. We have the community police forum that have patrollers who are volunteers. You know, patrollers volunteer in the areas where they originate. If a person is from Shawelo, they will volunteer in Shawelo, and they know the hotspots in Shawelo. And so as and when that time comes, when they know that this is the time for people to be going home, they will be there visible to ensure that the residents who are honestly their neighbors, some of them, their relatives, to ensure that they are safe where the police are not there. Like I said, we also work together with security companies under the banner of Eyes and Ears initiative through the Business Against Crime initiative. Remember, those people also, they have this residents subscribing to them to ensure their safety. So they are also on the roads. They are our force multipliers. Where we are not there, that's why it's called Eyes and Ears. They are our eyes, they are our ears, and we also have the community who are also our eyes and ears where we are not able to see as and when that time. But I have to say, in terms of the cases that were reported, we had limited number of cases during the crossover. I cannot give the stats because they are not yet released, but I can assure you that crime was stabilized, was low in the province during this crossover period.
Except drinking and driving, when it comes to arrest, just give us an overview of how many people overall were arrested during this crossover time.
For crossover, I have already said, Calvin, it was over 50 who were arrested. I think it was 56 or 57, but we had those who were arrested across the province. Specifically at the roadblock where the provincial commissioner was leading together with the deputy national commissioner, Lieutenant General Tebello Musikili, we had only 2 because people know that that is the spot where the police mount their roadblock during crossover. And you know that they are people from that area, so they know better than to drink and drive and go past through that area at the double-decker area on the M2. So we only had 2. For us, we do not view it as we were not able to detect. We view it as the public taking heed to the messages. Because remember, the drink and driving messages are not only coming from the SAPS, they're coming from all law enforcement. You have your Gauteng traffic giving the same message, you have the Metro Police giving the same message. We also have the National Traffic giving the same message, and Department of Transport giving the same message. So it goes to show that the public does listen at times. So when we see low numbers of arrests, we do not see it as the police were not there, they did not police. We see it as residents or the public now beginning to heed the message that the law enforcement is giving.
Your message to residents now for their behavior during the crossover time, what are you saying to them as SABS?
As SABS, we know people get excited, they do crickets, and I have to mention that we also have across the province arrested 9 people for not complying with the bylaws with regards to fireworks. So there's 9 people who were arrested across the province, but we know people get excited. It's a short period of time. Most of them do so cautiously, but we have some of those that are not cautious. The new year has gone by. We're now focusing back to school now. That is where the focus is going to be. But we appreciate the public, those law-abiding citizens who were able to heed our messages of awareness and were able to conduct themselves in a way that did not put their lives at risk or the lives of others at risk.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
That was Brigadier Brenda Mredili. As I have mentioned earlier, she speaks for SABS in Gauteng, saying that SABS in the province, they are happy, they are encouraged about the operations that they had during this festive season. She's saying that as much as she does not have the exact statistics from December to now, but she is happy that they made some of the arrests, saying that during the crossover period, they managed to arrest 50 people, including those who were drinking and driving and those who were not abiding or adhering to the bylaws. Police were all over the province. I remember when we were in Hillbrow earlier on the 31st of December, they were there with their resources, and we went to Soweto. You would find them on the Soweto highways and in some parts of Soweto where people were enjoying themselves. But Brigadier Mredili is saying that they will be able to release statistics later, and that is where then we will be able to communicate with them so that maybe they can give us a full extent of what really transpired during a festive season, including the 16th of December, the 25th, the 26th, and the 31st and the 1st of January.
Calvin, thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. Calvin Dludla speaking to us there on some of the crime stats in Gauteng over the festive period. Quite detailed there.